Back up in this thing. You know, this show was founded on hip hop. Our friendship, our relationship got a whole lot to do with hip hop. So whenever it's good hip hop, we in a good place. And that has never been truer than this week. It's really good to be in conversation with you for Rec and Review.
Mm-hmm.
And this week we getting into Mick Jenkins, The Patience. Now,
You know, we're so eager to talk about this. We're about to jump. We're about. We're both grabbing the mic. Go ahead, champion. And also just
you
check your
got it.
mic setting to make sure you're coming through crispy on your mic.
Crispy. Let me work on it. Go ahead though.
The background is Chicago. You're got the flag is Chicago. You're in Chicago at the moment. Mick Jenkins is a Chicago resident as well. There's a whole lot of Chicago-ness happening. I myself like to think that Chicago is my second home. This is one of those ones where we really grabbed the wave of Mick Jenkins very early, very, very early in 2015, 2000, no, no, sorry, 2014 is when the Waters came out, right? Me and you were together that summer over the Waters when it dropped.
Indeed.
Memorable summer. So we've been on Mick Jenkins for dare I say the entirety of his underground career.
Yeah, man. And it's brought me a lot of joy to follow this man's career. You know, being a South Sider, just to watch somebody grow and mention different things that I remember seeing, bringing history that I remember into the music, locations I remember, situations I remember. Mick is somebody whose art, even when I could understand why it wasn't breaking through that mainstream ceiling, was definitely hitting for me. And this album is no different, man. This has taken over any and all airwaves around me, to the point where, a question I have for you, man, was what were you listening to before this? Do you remember?
Before this album, I was listening to Leon Thomas and I was listening to a lot of Afro beats, Ashake, Adekunle Gold, putting together. I was working a lot on the R&B playlist, and I was very deep within a heavy R&B rotation. From a hip hop standpoint, Utopia. That's what this stepped on is Utopia for the rappers.
Man, similarly, this brought me right back to rap. You know, I was in my own little R&B bag, right? Some of the gems of which you can find on our listening session '07. Go check that out. You know, wherever fly and dope things are streamed. But yes, this pulled me out of a R&B, out of an alternative bag, and dropped me right back into hip hop. After a year, in the news even, no Billboard singles, no Billboard number ones for hip hop through like more than half of this year. This brought me right back to a place of feeling really good about the creativity about from our young hip hop artists out there, man. This album, the Reason album, the No Name album, all just been in heavy rotation. But this might be the one out those three. What you think?
It's quite spectacular, dude. And I think this has to be the album I'm most excited by as it comes out because my expectations for Mick Jenkins are really high. I have very, very high expectations for Mick Jenkins. And that's only because of the caliber of music that Mick has been making throughout his entire journey. And I think there is something about now getting to an age where you're almost the same age as the people that are rapping. So a lot of the things that he says and what he's feeling resonate and have kind of gone through that motion together. The big question that we had for Mick Jenkins was in his he had such a prolific trilogy in The Waters.
The trilogy, how? What you mean?
So it was The Waters, that was the Waters album, right? After the Waters album, he dropped um the Healing Components.
Indeed.
Okay, not trilogy, but the healing component was supposed to be the end of the Waters theme, right? And because he carried that over 2 years and was so powerful, I think the Waters mixtape is a classic. And then coming on to the healing, the question was, where does he go from that point? What does he do? And then there seemed like there was a time where Mick kind of lost us a little bit between that 2016 and through 2020. He was doing some other things, some other features going in, but it didn't. It seemed like, and this is important, when his trajectory started to plateau and he wasn't able to recapture what he had on the waters, it seemed like Chance and Vic Mensa skyrocketed past him.
Mm, mm.
And that's important to say because it brings me to this point. As it stands now, and by the way, going back, it wasn't just Chance. It was Chance. It was Vic. It was Saba. It was No Name. It was a lot happening in Chicago at that particular time. The talent level. Alex Wiley was there. Joey Perp was there. Tokyo was there. There was a lot that was happening from the musical scene in Chicago, and it seemed like Mick Jenkins had fallen behind on his peers.
My guy,
As it stands right now, he's the best.
I gotta
Best
give
out of
it
the
to you.
city.
Yo, your Chicago hip hop knowledge is thorough, dog. I don't think you left
Shout out.
nobody out that's on that side of it, right? Like we not talking about the Dirks and the Vons and the Bibbies and the Pappies, but everybody that was on the, and I hate to overuse the word earthy, but everybody that was on the conscious, let's go with conscious Chicago rap.
Underground,
Yeah.
underground, because at the time drill was the most popular. Chief Keef came out around the same time and pushed through. Dirk, Reese, they were coming through at that moment. Young Choppy, and it's I love you brought us there. Young Chop was dominating the sounds. Young Chop featured on the Kanye album.
Indeed.
So the sound wasn't there for this. Chance was an anomaly in all of that.
Shout out to the, what was it, 10-year anniversary of Acid Rap. We
Yes,
getting
10-year anniversary
old,
of Acid
bruh.
Rap,
We getting
dude.
old.
And when Acid Rat dropped, it was one of those moments where me and you were like, "This is the best thing out right now. This is the newest thing is the best thing," and that rarely happens in hip hop when the combination of what the newest thing and the best thing is. But Chance came out, dropped that Acid Rap, bro. We're listening to that nonstop. It was all over the colleges. It was a smash.
Word. Word. So I appreciate what you're saying, man, about where Mick stands in terms of the hip hop race and even the Chicago hip hop, you know, that lane, man. He's cruising in the first real smooth. And I had to come on this show, man, a couple weeks ago, and having just seen Mick perform live at the Silver Room Block Party. Shout out to Silver Room. Last year of the Silver Room Block Party, so I was hyped to see Mick Jenkins, Chicago artist, on this, get to perform on that stage before that thing got up on out of here. And I felt like my man didn't get the love that his catalog warrants. You feel me? Like, my man's got some very Chicago, very jazzy, perfect for, that outside summertime vibe. The audience was even a little bit older for the Silver Room Block Party, so it was like, it felt like a shame to watch my man get up there and to kind of speed through this catalog of fire, but not to see it resonate with the audience that you would think would be most here for it in Chicago, right? Like, and he sounds like he's mad about that on this album, and I love it.
He is definitely upset. He's definitely upset, and it was kind of like I was listening to when and I asked myself, like, what made this man so mad? And off of the second track, he goes and he says with Freddie Gibbs, he says, "Excuse my fascination with niggas exaggeration. Like, I'm sorry, I'm obsessed with how much lying has been happening, but I am, and I hate it, and it's making me mad. It's making him really mad. And I think even going into Pasta, where it sounds like he's like shouting, like through the track, he's shouting on some of these songs, but because he's got such a strong ear for melodies and also such a jazzy approach towards his music, the it never leaves the realms of the sonic realms of where it's supposed to be. It's always in pocket. It's always on time. Even the randomness is on time. The ad libbing is on time. The flows are. It's such a masterpiece. It's short. It's digestible. It's great, dude. This is one of my favorite. As a huge Mick fan, I've seen Mick Jenkins 2 3 times. Once in Cape Town. I've seen him somewhere else as well. Um, I've been a fan of Mick for a very long time, and Elephant in the Room was
Chef's kiss.
Elephant in the Room was mwah, be able to bring jazz back into hip hop like that in a way that people aren't doing. Tracks like Scottie Pippen, like this dude is brilliant. And for him to go, okay, I just did a super jazz album that was critically acclaimed, right? It was well received. I'm just gonna rap. I just want boom bap. I just want to rap.
But I appreciate what you said about the this is a different level for him. And even the frustration that you can feel in listening to it, the album cover, which is my man, head in his hands, like really looking frustrated, but then naming the album The Patience, and then coming with this angry, impatient flow, right? Like, it's my time, I'm seizing it type of vibe, type of sounds, right? And then to finish the album with that monologue where he says, you know, I'm in creative control now, and it took a long time to get here, and it hasn't been easy to build to a point where I feel like I can express exactly what's on my heart. And then, so once the album stops and you sit with that, and it's the title, The Patience, this angry music, and it feels like this man really got something off his chest. And that's a beautiful thing in music, man. I was so impressed by his ability to make us feel what it feels like, what it sounds like he's feeling. You feel me? And we getting mad feedback from Chills in the back over there, so you might
Yeah,
hear us say
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
but love you, Chills.
Uh,
Love
And
you,
my,
Chills.
yeah, my boy be making so much noise when he talks, fam. There's not. I'm gonna have to tell him to shut up. Go ahead, tell us more about how you like Mick Jenkins while telling Chills to shut up.
Yo, the pressure is so much crazier when you know that somebody's getting chewed out, right? Like I'm protecting y'all's ears from having to hear, you know, us go in on the homie. But it's love, man. That's what it's like when you gotta live with the homies, man. It's a
When you gotta live
collective,
with the homies.
but
And you know
it ain't
what's happening on
convenient.
that phone. My boy over there, Casanova, is spitting game. But that's beside. I like what you said about the monologue, man. It resonated with. It's just this album found me at the perfect time, at the perfect place mentally, with the perfect description, talking about the right things. And I think making artistry that's true to yourself is what allows for it to resonate with people so well. And I know that. And I was reading an interview that he did for NPR, and he was saying that he loves writing things in a way that you can unpack them later and find different things about it. Like if you haven't heard Mick Jenkins' P's and Q's, the every single rhyming word is either P or Q
Wow.
throughout the whole thing, and you don't pick that up unless you're looking at it. So it's dope, dog. I love hip hop. I love this music.
Yeah, we're in a really good place, man. Highlights from this joint for me. I really dug Pasta. I dug Sitting Ducks. That Benny feature is good. Benny been doing a lot of features. They've varied in their their quality,
Least
but this
favorite,
is
one of my least favorite songs of the album.
really, you didn't like this.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I didn't like Benny's verse on it, which
Really?
is a new thing, dude. Which is a new thing. I think Benny has given us so much good work. He needs to figure out what his magnum opus can be, and spare. And Benny needs to give us an album like the way Killer Mike did it, produced an album. Just get locked in and come up with your magnum opus that is just you. But that's not about Benny.
That's very interesting. Cause I've been listening to. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been listening to a lot of disappointing Benny verses, and I felt like this was a step up. This felt like he
Yeah.
knew who he was putting a feature out for. You know what I mean? Like he knew maybe that he knew Mick's audience, or at least respected his rapping ability. Cause it felt like he came harder to me. So I dug that. Um,
Facts.
Smoke Break Dance is another favorite for undisclosed reasons. 007
Mm-hmm.
is a favorite, and Mop. So Pasta, 007, Smoke Break, Mop, and that's Sitting Ducks. That's more than half the project. This joint is only 28 minutes, and it's one of my favorite joints of the whole year. So shout out to Mick Jenkins, man. The patience, really, really keeping underground hip hop, lyrical hip hop, conscious rap, and stuff that pushes the boundaries of the genre, brings in jazz elements, spoken word elements. It's really keeping that alive, and I mess with it heavy.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, y- I like what you said about all the features showing up because that's true. Freddie Gibbs showed up. Freddie Gibbs hasn't been very prevalent around, and I'm sure you know news moves very quickly. But not so long ago, people were questioning Freddie Gibbs' authenticity as Gangsta Gibbs. And I think he understood that if this is gonna be one of my few sightings out, I'm going to, and this is Mick Jenkins, someone that's lyrical. I'm also going to give my best lyrical performance. JID does the same thing. And you don't have to look any further other than the first album title, the first track of the album. And the first track of the album is going to tell you everything you need to know about the album. His is Michelin star,
And that's what this
already off top.
that felt like, bro. Finishing this album felt like somebody had served me a tiny fire plate of food. You know what I mean? And I was so ready for more. I was left like amazed, impressed, and we don't want to put pressure on people to come. This type of art takes as long as it takes, but when Mick is ready, I'll for sure be ready for that next project.
and
Hundred
and
percent.
also support him as much as possible from my side. Getting the merch, getting this is going on vinyl, getting this
Yep.
on vinyl for sure. This highlights 2004, mop at the end, Michelin. Honestly, there's only maybe one song that it doesn't isn't super repeatable for me, but other than that, this is a damn near perfect album, man. And if I have to give my own review on it, I got to give it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah. Word. Word. I was wondering whether I could give this a 5 out of 5 because it's under 30 minutes, and that makes it. There's a lot of other albums that I could cut down to 30 minutes and make them really, really, really good. So, but if the quality of everything that is there, I guess that's the 5 out of 5. So we're gonna let that rock.
Hey man, you heard it here. Mick Jenkins, best rapper in Chicago right now. Got the best album out in Chicago right now. Love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Hell yeah.
Man. So go listen to that. Go stream that. Go buy the merch. When next time this man is touring, that is your best chance to find me, catch me his way, cause I know for sure that we gonna be there. Man,
Facts.
let us know what y'all listening to. Let us know what y'all thought of this project. We definitely want to engage with y'all. Let us know what y'all want to see us review next. That No Name dropped. That Reason is hard. So hip hop's in a good place, and the show is in a good place. We feeling good. We feeling creative. So let us know what y'all want to come from next.
It's love.
Big love, yo. Eat something delicious. Hug somebody you love. Spin something dope. Listen to hip hop. We out. Peace.
Yeah, 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 I get that, but is we live though? Is we like all